Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is William Keat from lawandalchemy.org and commonlawconstitution.org. Welcome back. So this is the series on individualism and collectivism, carrying on, and we're now on to part 6, racing through. Having said that, we're actually only halfway through. That's quite a lot still to come. Okay, so in the previous section, part 5, and the one before that, I think we were looking at the detrimental effects, the negative effects of collectivism and groupthink. So what we're going to do now is to return back to individualism again and focus on the individual again. And this sort of flipping backwards and forwards is quite important because it gives you that contrast. You can really start to see the difference between the two. So let's get straight into that. So as you can see with the title at the top, this is about fulfillment and purpose of the individual. Okay, you can only achieve as an individual that fulfillment if an individual is self-determining, if they're making decisions for themselves, so they can make those choices in life that they need to make. So it's really, in a way, all about self-improvement, the right to make decisions that better his own life. That's the whole point about this. It's about self-improvement. So an individual, if you like, becomes the best version of themselves that they can be. And this is about accomplishment and competency, or developing competency, because that creates feedback loops of self-satisfaction within the individual, and they then start to shine as an individual. So this is also, though, about giving the individual the opportunity to make mistakes, because it's through the making of those mistakes that you then start to learn lessons and self-improve. Yeah, that means there's an element of danger in individualism. Always. Mistakes can be made. Mistakes are good. Yeah, and any entrepreneur will tell you that. That's how you develop, I guess, is what they say, isn't it? Is that you learn best from your mistakes. So that's an important factor. And to that sense of fulfillment that you obtain from that improvement, is the internal driver and energy for someone, for an individual's life. Yeah, that's where it comes from. So the most powerful internal driver for humans is that fulfillment through accomplishing one's own goals and following their ambition. So yeah, so that's where the sense of purpose in life comes from, you could say. So this is about addressing our own needs to become useful to others. Yeah, so it's only through becoming grounded and stronger by addressing your own needs that we can then become a rock and a support for others around us should they need that support. Yeah, so you can't really support others if you haven't addressed your own needs and you're not solid and grounded first. And an individualist recognizes that and understands that that's the case. You're not addressing your own needs because you're trying to be selfish. It's because you know you have responsibilities to others, and there's no way that you can bring those responsibilities into manifestation and to help others in reality unless you are solid and grounded in your own life as well. So breeding resentment by denying of self. So this is the next point, which is that if you are not able to be self-determining, that itself is going to breed resentment and anger within the individual, which is what happens when there is an agenda that you have to follow, a group-based agenda, where the individual is having to give up their drive and their sense of where they want to go in order to put in to make their own choices, if you like, as to what they want to do, to be self-determining. If you've got to give that up, you've got to sacrifice that, then you're not going to have that drive and that quality within oneself. You're not improving your own health. You can see where that's going to go. So being forced often through the threat of violence, or having something removed from you, or whatever it may be, being taken away to prison or something like that. It's a bit of an extreme situation, but ultimately that's what it comes down to. Being forced to use or expend your creativity and productivity according to someone else's agenda will breed resentment and anger, and is essentially therefore harmful and is a crime because it is breaching one's free will. So tying your life purpose, if you like, into a group is limiting the health of the individual. Now, if you're in that group as a group project, let's say voluntarily, then you're not denying your own self-purpose because you've chosen to be there, and that's fine. You can see where that becomes a problem. Yeah, it's if you are being coerced into being part of a group, or the group think is driving you in a direction that you don't really want to go, or to make decisions that you don't want to make. That's where the problem comes. Carrying on. So the individual's uniqueness is the value to society. So this whole thing about being forced into the actions of a group and doing something according to somebody else's agenda, in a sense, is denying uniqueness. It's denying the individual from being an individual. Yeah, but that's actually denying their value, their true value. And so what you could say then is the accomplishments, skills, and qualities that an individual brings only exists because of its uniqueness. Its value lies in its difference from others, a difference that would not be there if he was forced to operate as a group or for the greater good. Yeah, there's that dangerous phrase again. His unique qualities and individuality are themselves the value for the community. The universe wants diversity, variety, and complexity, not for everyone to become in sync with each other. We're not all equal, which is harking back to what we said in the previous video. So there's some interesting thoughts for you about the individual and the self-determination and that sense of fulfillment and purpose of an individual. Really important. And I hope you found that useful. So that's the end of that one, and see you in the next one. The next one, probably what we might do is just reflect a little bit on everything that we've dealt with so far. Perhaps actually we might have one more first, and then we'll have a sort of pause and a bit of a reflection on it, and then see where we go from there. Hope you found that useful. Cheers for now.